Okay, so Becky, have I told you my bad joke of the day yet?
No,
Do you know how you turn a
you haven't.
Do you know how you turn a mosquito into a fruit?
How is that?
You squash it. Okay,
Oh
so
my goodness.
so please please welcome our inaugural guest to a basic podcast, the convention coordinator for the American Council of the Blind's annual convention. Please welcome 35-year federal employee veteran, mother, wife, and guide dog user, Mrs. Janet Dickelman. Welcome.
Thank you so much. So, was that your inaugural joke? And I sure hope they get better after that.
That was the best one.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was trying to figure out where this was going because I'm in Minnesota, which of course is our real state name is Land of 10,000 Lakes, or our state motto, but our in-state motto is Land of 10,000 Mosquitoes because we have tons of mosquitoes there. So when you started with your mosquito joke, I thought, oh, surely this is something about Minnesota. No,
No, truthfully, it was the second joke I got from Amazon this morning. The first one was, why? What did the basketball say to its therapist?
I'm afraid to ask what.
I feel empty inside. Okay, so
I actually like it better than the mosquito slash one.
that's I owe all my humor.
Seriously, I'm very happy to be on your inaugural podcast. I think there's only one way you can go from here.
Well, you and Becky have already increased the value of the podcast just by being here. So, um, let's just get started. And I wanted to begin with, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to sort of tell the listeners about yourself, how you got involved with the ACB and then ultimately became the convention coordinator.
I will be happy to do that. Isn't that everybody's favorite subject, talking about themselves?
It should be.
Yep. All right. No, seriously. I am, I was a, okay, wait, I'm starting this again. You've already flummoxed me here.
It's my
He
joke.
has a way of doing that, honestly. He really does.
My joke, it just like, how could he tell that bad of a joke to introduce me? That's really sad.
I know, you got me. All right. Starting over again. Well, thank you for asking me. I was the president of our state affiliate of American Council of the Blind in Minnesota in 2007 when the national convention was in Minneapolis. And I had never attended a national convention. I was always busy during the summer. It didn't work out for me to take the time off over the 4th of July because one of the other supervisors in my office always wanted that time off to spend with family, and I didn't need it. So I never took the time to go to a convention. But when it was in Minneapolis and I was on the local state host committee to help plan the national convention and president of my affiliate, I thought, oh, I guess I better, go over to this convention for at least a couple half a days here and there. And I attended, and I was so blown away by all the number of activities that we had and the exhibit hall and just the camaraderie. And that year I helped out at our convention information desk, and I ended up actually spending as much time as I could at the convention. I would go to work for a couple hours, go to the convention for a couple hours, go back to work if I had to, and then back to the convention. So it was kind of a crazy time, but I got bitten by the convention bug. And in 2009, I was asked by the ACB president if I would coordinate the convention information desk. So I did that for a couple of years and really enjoyed doing it. That's kind of the heart of the convention, the pulse of the convention, where all the information related to the convention is disseminated, and I enjoyed that a lot. And then I received a phone call asking if I would be interested in being the convention coordinator. And I always tell this story. I got off the phone and I said to my husband, wow, they asked me to be coordinator of the convention. And he said, well, how much work is it? And I said, I don't know, but what an honor. And he said, yeah, but how much work is it? And I said, well, I don't know, but I can't believe they think that I could do this. I mean, I am just blown away. I am so overwhelmed with this honor. And so we went back and forth about honor and how much work it was. And then, very quickly after I started as convention coordinator, I realized it's a lot of work and it's no honor. No, I love doing it. This is the ninth convention that I've coordinated, and it is it's an amazing thing. And obviously, I couldn't do it without my committee, without some staff people in our office. But basically, it's my baby. And the first convention, when I did my convention report, I kind of equated it to childbirth because I said basically the convention takes 9 months to plan, and I felt if you're waiting and waiting and waiting for this baby to be born, and the end of it is being in labor, and you never think it's going to come, and all of a sudden I'm standing there, and I'd had this beautiful convention baby, and everything came togetger, and that's kind of how I feel about the convention.
So was there like an epidural? Were there painkillers?
No, oh no.
You went all natural.
I went
you just
natural,
went in
yes.
all
I
in,
did
all
natural convention birth.
I just want to say that
wonderful.
If it takes 9 months to plan it and you've been waiting for 3 months to get it done, that sounds like a pretty long labor process. I think I would definitely be asking for some drugs.
It's a year long. As soon as I'm done with the 2020 convention, I'll start planning the 2021 convention in Phoenix.
How do you even, we'll get into this later, but I can't even imagine.
Seems like that's even closer to us.
Yeah. What did you say, Becky?
I said that's even closer to us.
Oh, that's
yes, it is.
in Texas.
So you guys will have to come.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll definitely be there for sure. I definitely want to be a part of it more next year. I wanted to be a part of it this year, obviously, but, circumstances have changed. See, that's my edit out part right there. See, you thought you were
the interviewer.
You thought you were going to have.
Sorry, I have a way of getting him off track like that.
See,
I know you're good.
I haven't heard one from her yet. She's got me beat big time. All right, Becky, on to you. Take it away, Becky.
All right. Okay. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic this year, convention will be virtual. In what other ways will the event be different? So with this year being virtual, how is that different from other conventions?
Well, obviously there is no in-person convention, which when this first came up in mid-February, when our president reached out to me and said, I think we need to start considering a plan B for the convention with this COVID. And I kind of thought he was nuts because I never thought it was going to last this long. But I certainly was wrong about it. And the board did make a decision at the end of March that we should pursue a virtual convention. And of course, everyone's sad because one of the things that people look forward to the most at the convention is getting together with people. And
exactly,
that's a component that in virtual land you can't have. But we have so many sessions going on, and the thing that's really blowing me away for this convention is all the first-time attendees that we're getting for the convention. I've had so many people say, I've never been able to get to a convention because either I couldn't take the time off work, or I didn't have the money to travel, or I don't feel comfortable traveling. And they have all registered for our virtual convention, which is so heartening. And in spite of the fact that we are in virtual land, we are still having most everything that we have in our in-person convention. During the convention, we have about 120 different sessions. We will have an exhibit hall, which we'll talk about in a bit, and we will also have some virtual tours. So other than standing in elevator lines and getting to sit down and have that cup of coffee or a glass of wine with friends or new acquaintances, new people, it's going to be identical.
Wonderful. That's all good to know.
I like those are really good answers. I did not know were going to come. Excuse me, but that's a really good answer. I want to step back just a little bit to want to step back a little bit to your first question, and I want to do a quick follow-up. So how many conventions have you coordinated prior to this one?
9. My first, I was the vice chair in 2011, and then 2012 was the first convention that I was the coordinator for.
Wow! So this is your 9th one. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So, do you have a theme for this year's event, or certain goals that you have for the event this year?
Well, our theme is, and I actually had a contest because I was trying to figure out a good convention theme. So I offered a $25 Amazon gift certificate to the theme that was selected, to the winner of the theme. And I must have had about 50 different responses. It was really cool. But the winning theme is ACB, A Path to the Future. And really, we literally this is, new frontier, new pathways. And I think that really depicts what our convention is this year. The virtual will never, I certainly don't anticipate the in-person convention ever going away. But I believe that from now on, there's certainly going to be much more of a virtual component in our conventions. We always had some of our convention events live streamed on our ACB radio, and we did record a lot of events that were archived for later listening. But this year, pretty much everything's going to be up on ACB radio, or for people who registered for the convention, they're able to attend the meetings via Zoom.
Can you go ahead and say, you mentioned ACB radio. What is that ACB radio address?
It is acbradio.org. And I am sending out in all the convention related information, and we have 5 or 6 different streams on ACB radio that we're going to be broadcasting the different convention events on. We have our mainstream, we have live event, we have treasure trove, we have several different streams, and there will be information that is available giving the web address for each stream, how you can access it by that lady with the A name, whose name I won't say because it'll start everybody's devices going. You can also listen to ACB radio over the phone. So there's numerous ways to attend our convention, and that is all available if you have not even if you have not registered for the convention. Of course, we hope that you do register, because the registration does get you some perks, one of which is you will every day, or every evening, I should say, you will receive an email for the next day's agenda, and that will list all the sessions that are being offered that day, and the Zoom address, and how to access Zoom on your iPhone or calling on your telephone. And it'll also list the ACB radio stream. If you register for our convention, you're also eligible for door prizes, and you don't even have to be present to win. If your name is drawn, we'll announce it, and you'll automatically be sent the door prize. You, as a convention registrant, have the opportunity to be an individual sponsor if you choose to do that. You have the ability to support our special interest affiliates. ACB has 27, I believe, special interest affiliates, anywhere from teachers to attorneys to students to veterans to guide dog users. You name it, ACB has a special interest affiliate for that. And by registering, you can also add in a little something to help out your favorite special interest affiliate. It's not necessary, but it is something that you can do by registering. But the main thing to register for the convention is you'll automatically get that Zoom information. But we encourage anyone who wants to listen, that's fine. We'd love to have you.
Okay, great. Quick show note for you, Becky. The two questions she's kind of partially answered. Janet's already partially answered 2 of the questions. One was about obviously she answered the question about the sponsors and things like that. I think that's on your account. And
Okay.
So, and then she
You
mentioned.
can ask me again. I might have a different answer.
Well, no, we will. I'm just letting her make it here where you still ask the question because I'll have it for the recording, and if I have to adjust at what point we mention it, then I can do that later. Just so you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So, thank you. So, excuse me. What can you do? Let's try that again.
No, apparently I can't.
No,
apparently you can't.
Neither can I.
Try it again.
Easy for me not to say. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you describe?
I want to come out and hang out with you guys every week. You guys have way too much fun.
We do. Sometimes we do.
Yes, we do. She's this lady's fun to talk. It's actually strange. It's like Becky. I've only known her. I know her through a friend, and as soon as I first met her, she was like someone who like I had a tremendous amount of things in common with, and she's just been a good friendship to build with. I have a lot of respect for her husband too. Her husband is in the Air Force, and I have a lot of respect for the military. So, okay. Can you describe the different kinds of workshops there will be and can you describe the different kinds of workshops there will be and how they will add value for both children and adults?
I certainly, boy, this is a trick question because we have so many different workshops. I hate to even talk about any few in particular, but you mentioned children, so I'm going to talk about a couple of things that children would definitely like. And one of the things that we're doing on Thursday is our ACB Families group and our Friends in Art group together are having a presentation on Legos and how Lego has come up with the print and braille audio and braille instructions for many of the Lego sessions.
I have heard about that. I'm so interested.
We are going to have the young man who actually thought about this and got the Lego company to do that. And that's going to be really interesting for kids and as well as parents. Also, that day, we're doing a segment on camp stories. We're having Jack Fox, the talking book narrator, who many of you are familiar with, is coming on and reading a bunch of different fun stories for camp that you would, hear when you're sitting around the campfire. Our students are having a session on video games and we call it the Next Generation, Next Gen. They are a newly formed affiliate of ACB, and they are for people under age 40 because they saw a need because a lot of our members are, getting older. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't say that, but they saw. Let me read. The Next Gen
mature
saw a need for an affiliate that would really capture some of our younger members, some of the in-between members, I should say, I guess. So that is an affiliate that is for people under 40. Now, they tell me that I can come too if I want, even though I'm well over 40, as long as you're under 40 and at heart. But that is, and they are doing a session on Instagram and YouTube. We also have another session that our students and guide dog users are putting together on completing Google Forms. So those are just a few things that I can think of off the top of my head that would be for a younger crowd, especially for students. And also, of course, adults will benefit from them.
Anything particularly for the more mature crowd in the retiree range you can mention?
Yes. Our Alliance on Aging and Vision Loss is having a segment on filling the gaps for seniors on Monday afternoon. And I think that's going to be, very, where does rehab leave off? And how do you not fall through the cracks as a senior blind person? Also, our Citizens Low Vision International is having a session with the Foundation Fighting Blindness about various eye diseases. We have a segment on Hadley School. Our sight and sound impaired group is having a session on haptic technology. And I think that will, especially to our deaf, blind, and deaf, hard of hearing, or blind, hard of hearing members, that's going to be a very important session. We have a lot of social events too. Our students Friday evening are having, along with our Next Gen affiliate, are having a meet and greet. We're having, the Next Gen is having a meet and greet on Tuesday. Our Blind Pride group is having their 20th anniversary meet and greet on Wednesday evening. And we have a lot of different fun things during the convention. On Tuesday evening, we will have an auction, and we have, I believe, 72 items up for bid, and that's always a great time, and you'll be able to participate via Zoom. We are showing 2 episodes of the Disney documentary Pick of the Litter, and we're doing that Saturday evening. And our Director of Advocacy and Outreach, Claire Stanley, was filmed in this documentary when she was getting a guide dog at Guide Dogs for the Blind. So we're going to show 2 of the episodes that she was a part of and let her talk about what it was like being a star and being filmed during something that's a very, very personal time of your life when you're being matched with your guide dog. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, my children have actually watched The Pick of the Litter.
Have they? Yep.
And they're convinced that I'm getting a Disney dog now.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, my dog's coming from Disney, according to my children.
You better be careful. You don't want it to be goofy.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
I had a dream last week about my first guide dog. I guess it's normal to start having dreams if you finish the application process. And I had a dream that I was walking out the door for the first time with my dog. And I said, by the way, what is this dog's name? And they told me the dog's name was Target. So in our household, we refer to my dog as Target. For the past about week and a half now, my dog's name is Target. And we're looking forward to Target's arrival in our family.
And when are you getting your dog?
My application process is complete, and we are waiting for California or Oregon. Yeah, we're waiting for them to open up. And then I will go ahead
that's okay. Yes, of course.
I'll get a date once that happens. Yeah, I've participated in some Zoom meetings and some online courses and things like that. I've devoured everything they've sent me, and I'm looking forward to when that time comes.
Very cool.
I always think of that.
Oh, and another session that I want to highlight that I think is going to be really exciting, speaking of guide dogs, our guide dog users have several different sessions throughout the convention, but one in particular is about a woman who is blind and does dog massage, and she was fascinated with the Iditarod dogs in Alaska. So she had the opportunity to go and do dog massage in Alaska for the Iditarod racing dogs.
And she's a guide dog user?
Yep.
That's really interesting.
So that's going to be a very cool session. But as other fun type, not that all these sessions aren't fun, but Friday evening, the 3rd of July, and I should have mentioned from the get-go that our convention dates are July 3rd through July 10th.
It's in my notes, but that's still good to continually reminding people and letting them know is a good thing.
Yep. But the first Friday, July 3rd, every year at the convention, we show an audio described movie, and we try to show the movie that won the Academy Award for Best Picture for that year. And this year, the Academy Award winner went to the movie Parasite. And that is a movie filmed in South Korea, and the movie is in subtitles. So in the audio description version of it, described version of it, I should say, there will be the reading of the subtitles plus the audio description. And I've seen that in a couple other movies. It's really cool how that happens.
So are you going to have someone who acts as the narrator as normal, and then actors doing the male and the female, or are you just going to have one person doing all of it?
No, it's all going to be read. It's already a film with the audio description as part of it that we're going to be showing. And it has the describer, at least one describer, and then people reading the subtitles. And when I've seen these movies in the past, and I haven't seen this, but when I've seen these movies in the past, sometimes they do have a female reading the female and a male reading the male parts, but I'm not sure how this one's going to work because I have not seen it.
This is so intriguing. I love audio descriptive movies.
Oh my goodness, I do too.
Tell her about the
speaking
service
of
that.
audio
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, Janet. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Speaking of audio description, July 4th, Saturday evening, of course, is the 4th of July because it's July 4th. And who doesn't enjoy fireworks? But I don't think there's going to be too many fireworks displays this year because of social distancing and costs. But we have our very own fireworks Saturday evening. It is the fireworks that were from Washington, D.C., from the Capitol steps last year in 2019. And our AD Audio Describe project chair, Dr. Joel Snyder, who is an audio describer extraordinaire, will be audio describing the fireworks from last year.
Oh,
so that's
great.
Very cool.
So
We've
you're
never
going to
done
sort of
anything
revisit
like that before.
You're going to revisit the last year's fireworks display.
Yes. He's got the feed from the fireworks, so he's going to be describing them.
I can only imagine. That is so intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good.
I've never had an actual an event audio described. That would just be so intriguing.
Well, come join us on July 4th, and you can hear it.
Very well plugged. Very well plugged.
Right, exactly. So I attended the ACB convention last year in Austin. Rochester. What is that?
In Rochester, New York last year, yes.
Oh no, I attended the ACB conference in Austin for the ACB Texas convention.
Oh, okay, the Texas State Convention,
Correct.
State Convention, yes.
So I attended the ACB State Convention last year in Austin, Texas, and I found the audio description elements to be very helpful. What role will audio description services play in this year's convention? And you've already touched on that, but will there be any more audio described events?
There will be several programs pertaining to audio description. There will be on Monday evening, each evening we're having kind of what we're billing as an evening with ACB, and Monday evening is our audio description updates. So we have people from all the industries that partake in audio description: Amazon, Apple. I'm just naming a couple, so I don't want to forget anybody. So I'm just naming a couple, and they will all talk about what they're doing as far as audio description is concerned. And then every afternoon, Monday through Friday, we have a segment on audio description as one of our sessions. And we have a segment on cord cutting or do you stream. We have a segment on audio description in national parks. We have a segment on audio description the audio description and what's going on legislatively for audio description as far as what the laws are, because at this point there is, in certain markets, legally they have to provide a certain number of hours of audio description. So they're going to update us on all of that. So as I said, each day, Monday through Friday, we're going to have a segment on audio description. So yes, audio description will play a big role in our convention. And our banquet speaker Friday evening is an audio describer from California, Roy Samuelson, who has done a lot of audio description. I know he's done a lot of things on CBS and a lot of other, I believe a lot of other commercial audio description. I know him best from the show on CBS, Criminal Minds. He was the audio describer for that, and that was a really hard show to describe. So he is our banquet speaker, and I know that he'll do a great job.
That's great. Sorry. Becky, you still with us?
Yes,
I can
I'm
keep
still
going. I
here.
can keep going on, or you guys can ask whatever you want to do.
No, I just want to make
I
sure.
mean, I could talk for 3 hours about this convention.
That's good.
I could listen for 3 hours about this convention. It's getting more and more interesting as we're going along. And the people that you're just talking about and that will be there and the services that are offered, they're all intriguing to me. I am such a big fan of audio description. It's changed my life. It really has.
It does. I mean, it's amazing. And I'm sure you've noticed with your husband and children. I mean, my husband loves audio description because he said, it takes the pressure off me. I don't have to worry about trying to fill something in for you when there's no description.
Have you been not giving him quarters for his work in audio describing?
Right. He doesn't get any quarters. And I'll come downstairs once in a while and he's in the den and he's got, something on that he's watching and the audio description's going. And so, yeah, I just leave it on. If it's an audio description, I just have that on.
Oh, that's really, so has he now become sort of so accustomed to it that he just plays it naturally, or did he play it in the event that you come down and decide to join them? Or
no, he just plays it naturally.
That's nice. That's cool. I know Becky was talking the other day.
And he kind of likes it because if he's not looking at the screen constantly, and if he hears something like, oh, he's standing behind her with the knife, then then he looks back at the screen to see what's going on.
Or to make sure the guy's not behind him.
Right.
Becky was talking the other day about how she was watching a movie, and it's an interesting aspect of the audio description. And tell Janet what you were sharing with me the other day about the audio description and what you learned from it.
What I've learned about the audio description is a lot of times we as the listeners of the movie via audio description, we are told certain characters' names repeatedly, or, we're introduced to characters before characters are even introduced by their name within the movie.
Yes.
So we left the movie theater, my husband and I I kept telling him, I was like, oh my goodness, that doll, Misty, she really was creepy. And he's like, who's Misty?
Yeah.
Because they'd only mentioned one time in the movie when we actually purchased it and went back and watched it. They only ever mentioned one time in the movie the doll's actual name.
But you got it.
But I got it.
Yep.
Repeatedly. Through the audio description, they kept referring to the doll and referring to the little girl and things like that. So by the end of the movie, I knew the character's names. I knew I could tell you the story using the character's names specifically.
Yes. And
whereas my
husband
noticed
that too.
Yeah.
And my husband will say, that one who did blah, 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 blah. And I'll say, you mean Joe? Oh, yeah. Okay, I guess.
Exactly. It's like a secret squirrel club, and only we are allowed in.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. And I was so excited. Our local movie theater just got audio description recently. They remodeled and they put audio description in, and it makes such a huge difference. And we've gotten to the point we still watch a lot of things on regular TV, and if we start a series and it doesn't have audio description, if it doesn't immediately pique our interest, we just jettison it.
You jettison? What does that mean? You just skip it?
We say, this isn't that good, and it doesn't have audio description, so forget it. We're not going to invest our time in it.
Are you not watching a lot of Johnny Knoxville films over there with audio description, probably?
No.
Not a lot of Tom Green or Johnny Knoxville films are going on in your house very often.
No, not a lot.
All right, great. Becky, do you want to go for your next one, please?
Sure. One of the other things I really enjoyed about the conference is the booths, where you learn about different services and technology available. Will there be some kind of virtual booth?
Oh, yes, there will.
There will. Wonderful.
There will. We have our virtual exhibit hall. We have, I believe it's about 45 different exhibitors. And I should know the exact amount, and what we're doing with the exhibit hall is we actually have 8 hours
Janet,
of
can I pause you?
content for our exhibit hall.
Can I pause you for 1
Yes.
second? I want to give you a little help on this, just because, and I'm going to let you start over and say about how many exhibitors, because I happened to catch the live stream from ACB on your Facebook page this morning. 39 exhibitors.
39. Okay. Yeah. 40. Okay. I'm saying 40.
I just wanted to help you. My apologies.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we are going to have an exhibit hall. We're having a virtual exhibit hall. We have approximately 40 different exhibitors who have all supplied content for their exhibit booth. And our exhibit hall channel on ACB Radio is actually going to run, we have enough content for 8 hours of exhibitors. So our exhibit hall will be, quote, open. The initial airing of it will be from 11:30 a.m. Eastern until 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and all times that we're doing are Eastern time. So anything that you see on the convention information, that's all Eastern time.
So now it's my turn to stutter.
Okay. First
So
time.
will the convention coordinators, okay, I'm stumbling over my own words now. Will there be swag? Last year when I went to the convention, the booths gave away little hand sanitizers. They gave away, reusable bags. They gave away little trinkets and things like that. Will there be swag bags?
We unfortunately won't have swag this year. However, what we will have is a lot of exhibitor specials. So all the exhibitors have the opportunity with their quote exhibit booth to promote any promotions that they're doing through the convention. I know a lot of the exhibitors, although the information is pre-recorded, will tell you, here's our phone number, here's maybe a Zoom room link that you can go to if you want to talk with us directly. Here's the specials that we are offering. And each day, the exhibit hall is going to kind of rotate its times. So you might get your favorite exhibitor at 11:30 one day and 3:30 the next, so that you kind of can plan for when, and there'll be a schedule out each day. And many of the exhibitors, the exhibit hall is open all 8 days of the convention, from Friday the 3rd through Friday the 10th. And many of our exhibitors gave us 8 different exhibit segments to air during our quote exhibit hall. So it's going to be something fresh and new each day that they're going to talk about. Now, there are some exhibit booths that are going to, have the same content each day, but most of them have multiple content throughout the convention. And then the exhibit hall will be replayed because it's 8 hours. It'll be replayed 2 times after that. So the second airing will start at 7:30 p.m. until 3:30 a.m. and then the next one from 3:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So you'll get a chance to hear the exhibit hall a couple different times during the convention. And of course, all that information will also be archived and available for anyone to listen to down the road.
Awesome.
Okay. So my next one is going to be a 2-part question. First,
I have to remember 2 parts?
2 parts. Yes, exactly. But we can help you along. There's
good.
no
Thank
pressure.
you.
No pressure in this.
Hang on 1 second.
Oh,
I need to ask you both ladies a quick favor. I'm looking at our clock and we're 52 minutes after. Do you have a little more time, or do you both need to go promptly at 2? Is that all right?
No.
Becky, how about
I don't.
you? What about you, Becky?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, I'm going to go, before you continue, I'm going to go into meeting settings and change the time so it doesn't end us at
More button.
It doesn't knock us out.
Correct.
Meetings, minimize meeting.
Okay.
Meeting settings. Button. Share screen. Share screen. Allow waiting room. Block meeting. Allow chat. Rename themselves.
Because all the goofing
Unmute
around.
themselves. Meeting topic.
But you didn't know there'd
Meeting
be all this
topic.
goofing around, did you?
To mute upon entry.
No, I didn't.
Switch button.
You just never know how awesome it's going to
Double
get. That's
tap
the
to
thing.
toggle set. Play,
Yep.
join, and leave sound. Mute upon entry. Always show meeting can touch up my appearance. Switch button.
I don't know how you can.
Done.
Let's
Button.
see. I don't see a.
Share screen.
I don't
Road
see
4
a
to set. Play,
continue
join,
to.
I don't
and
think
leave
it
sound.
knocks you off.
Switch
I really
button.
don't.
General.
You don't think so? Okay.
I don't think so.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think it does, but I could be wrong.
Well,
if it does, I'll just call back in.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I apologize.
I'm still here. I was removing my dog's collar, and I don't know where everybody went to. So
yeah, people
the
come
ice cream
and go.
truck came.
Did you say the ice cream truck came?
Yes, the ice cream truck showed
Oh my
up during
gosh!
that
I want
last
to come to your house.
segment.
I was about to say, well, I'll see you two later.
Right? I mean, my entire household was upstairs, and everyone, literally, even the dog, darted out the door when the ice cream truck came.
Oh wow, that's that. Well, I remember the good old days of the ice cream truck. I haven't had
a good humor, man. Yep.
I remember the milk guy when we were kids. I lived in a very small town in Texas. And the milk guy would drive up with his gallons of milk, and I was always like, "Did you get chocolate milk, Mom?" That was my thing.
Aww.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid. And she was like, "Stop bothering me." Anyway. Okay, so go ahead and go with your two-part, and thanks for your insight on the meeting thing.
We'll see, but I believe that's correct.
Well, I hope you're right.
Because I've been on meetings that have gone, way longer than we initially thought.
Well, I totally understand and appreciate you both for taking the extra time. Go ahead, Becky.
You're going to owe my kids ice cream when you see them.
You're going to owe us ice cream.
That seems fair.
Kingsley's going to owe us ice cream in Phoenix next year.
Well, yes. I don't know if it's going to be...
One of our, if you remember from the convention when you were there last year, Kingsley, one of our, and we're not doing this live, but one of our booths, Vanda Pharmaceuticals, always gave away ice cream bars. They'd buy ice cream bars through the hotel. I loved it because they'd buy, a lot of food, because I'm all about the food and beverage when the convention's, in person. And they'd buy 12 dozen ice cream bars for each day of their exhibit booth, and they'd put them out at 1 p.m. Boy, did they get a big crowd of people at 1 p.m.
They ran out of ice cream bars about 2 minutes after they started, probably.
Yep.
People can smell ice cream and they go, "Where's that at?"
Yep.
Especially when it's in the summer.
Did they play the little jingle like the ice cream?
No, they didn't, but we did announce it.
Yeah.
That would be great for just a little added aura to the event.
My exhibit coordinator always said that he'd always go grab his and then he'd make the announcement.
Yeah, you got to start eating that immediately, though. That's not something you put in your pocket.
No, not at all.
A
couple times they'd bring me one where I was sitting at a desk, and by the time it got to me, it was always a little melty, but that's okay.
So when you were doing sitting in what were you sitting in an ACB information booth or something again to help out, or what kind of a booth were you sitting in when you were at the convention?
What I do during the in-person conventions is I hang out. We have a volunteer check-in desk, and we do get a number of volunteers who come and help people, learn their way and get from meeting room to meeting room, because the venues that we use are always large hotels because we have so many things going on. And a lot of people just feel more comfortable, especially the first few days, with someone to help them along or get them, to a meeting quickly. So I usually hang out at our volunteer check-in desk with my volunteer coordinator so that I can spell her if she needs to be spelled. And people find me there, so I'm very busy when I'm sitting there, but at least it's not quite like being at the information desk where there's a constant barrage of questions. I can't hide out there anymore because it's just too busy.
Yeah, I would imagine not, especially when you're the coordinator of this thing. I can imagine that there's people always wanting to ask you a ton of questions.
I keep saying I want an office with a door that I can lock, but that's never happened.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
I was hoping for the same thing, but I'm sitting in the dining room.
They laugh at me because we usually have a house phone at the volunteer check-in desk. So I will often have the house phone at one ear, my cell phone on another ear, and I'm answering a question for somebody standing at the desk. And sometimes the people who I'm helping get a little confused. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the other person.
What would you like on that sandwich? Cut the crap.
Yeah.
There's no crap on the sandwich, ma'am. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I can multitask talk to three people at the same time. It just confuses them a little bit.
That must be so. You can have a lot of fun that way. I always remember, before Becky goes back to her question, I always remember years ago, the funniest episode I ever saw of the Flintstones was Fred has, like always, they find a double for someone, and he's this double, and this rich guy who looks exactly like Fred is sick or decides to just run away. And so
Frederick.
Yeah, Frederick. And so they have him at this table, and they're like, okay, all you have to do is say three things. Whose baby is that? What's your angle? Or I'll buy that. And so he's just sitting there answering the phone back and forth. Whose baby is that? What's your angle? I'll buy that.
That's kind of me.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead, Becky.
Okay. Two-part question. First, do you think virtual attendance will become a permanent part of the annual convention now? And secondly, do you have plans to use this new platform to offer more workshops or mini conferences throughout the year?
I believe, yes, we have always had some virtual component to our convention because of our ACB radio platform. So we have always streamed some of our events, our general sessions, which this year our evening opening general session is Sunday evening, July 5th, and then our daily sessions are Monday through Friday in the morning. And we've always streamed our banquet and at least one afternoon session. So we've always had a little bit of a virtual component, but this year we're going to be streaming so much more. And yes, it's all going to be archived on ACB Radio, on our website, rather, I should say, by ACB Radio. And I do believe that, yes, we will continue to have a virtual portion to our convention each year, even more virtual than we've had in the past. I don't know if it'll be quite the same as this year, but there'll certainly be a lot more virtual component to our convention. And we have already started in February when we have our mid-year meetings in Alexandria, Virginia, and we do our visit to the Capitol Hill to visit representatives and senators. Last year, we streamed all of that on ACB Radio, and I know we will again. And we have started doing a lot of what we're calling community calls that we are streaming and also on Zoom, especially with the onset of COVID when a lot of people are at home and not getting out as much as they normally would. And we have probably 6 or 8 different calls each day about various topics, anywhere from a coffee clutch to, sessions on how to use your iPhone. So we've really been doing a lot more technology type virtual, I should say. We've been doing a lot more virtual meetings and sessions. So yes, I'm sure that's going to continue.
Wonderful. That's all good to know because me personally, I live in a transportation desolate area when it comes to public transportation. I live in between San Antonio and Austin. So for me to actually get out and get to these conventions is a little difficult, although I'd enjoy participation.
Then you want to attend our Transportation and Information Access Committee sessions during the convention. And those are Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And one of the segments reminds me of you because the title is They Roll Up the Sidewalks at Night. So it's about living in areas that do not have as much transportation and how you deal with that.
In my neighborhood, they haven't even put the sidewalks down.
They haven't put the sidewalks down.
No.
They have to go buy they have to go buy the carpet on Amazon, so they have to buy that on Amazon first. That's the concrete.
Yeah, we're still putting sidewalks down in our neighborhood. We have 1 mile to go, and I'll be able to walk to town.
Oh, that'll be nice.
It'll be amazing.
Your dog will be trained to do what they call country work if need be, kind of trail along the shoreline and get you through areas that don't have sidewalks.
Super excited about that, yes.
Now, you will be required, if you live in a country area with a guide dog, you will be required to buy the dog overalls and a little piece of hay to keep in the side of its mouth.
Yeah, there you go. A straw hat too, I'm thinking.
Yeah, a straw hat or a sombrero, because we have a big mix here. So you could have a sombrero or a straw hat. You just have to decide. And I don't know, do they teach the dog Spanish? I don't know how that works. Anyways, so what have you
out of this hour and 3 minutes that we've been talking? How much content do you think we really have?
Actually, we have quite a bit.
Well, we're on 8 of 11. I think we're doing really well.
No, I'm just picking on you guys because it's been so much fun having a good time with you.
You know, I will say that I actually think that we're going to end up. This is being very beneficial in a lot of ways, and the humor is a huge aspect of it, the human side of it. And one of the things I want people to understand is the different walks of life people are coming from. So I say all that to say that this will probably end up. I'll probably end up splitting this up into 2 episodes. So just so you know,
I am learning so much.
I
am
too, and I'm really enjoying. So we're so thankful. Thankful for both of you.
Well, as I said, I'm always happy to talk about the convention because so many people say about our convention, this changed my life. I learned so much, and especially people who are newly blind or just haven't been around a lot of people who are blind in their lifetimes. And for them, it's it really is a life-changing event because it gives them the opportunity, even though we're not in person this year, it gives you the opportunity to network, gives you the opportunity to learn an awful lot about what is out there for people who are blind and visually impaired. And,
exactly.
We're so happy that we can do that.
I love the fact that you mentioned about just now about how it allows people to know what's out there for the blind community, because I was low vision my whole life. I have albinism, so I was born with low vision. And as I became older and a little bit older, and now I'm a little bit older, I started to lose that vision. And I've been, quote unquote, legally blind for about 2 years, a little over 2 years now. And my mom and I recently were talking, and she apologized to me. She said, "I'm sorry I didn't know about these services for you before now.
Yeah.
That you're just finding out about all this." She knew about the Sight Center, and she knew about, taking me to my eye appointments once a year, but she didn't realize the plethora of services that are out there for people in my situation. And it's become my personal passion to teach the community and reach out and learn as much as I can so the next generation doesn't have to struggle.
Right.
And one of the things Becky has actually done that she hasn't tooted her own horn about, but she should, so I'll toot it, toot, is talk about what you did with the city of Cibolo, because I couldn't put it as eloquently as you could.
When I was at Chris Cole, I participated in the White Cane Day. And right up to when White Cane Day was really being touted, I was like, what is this thing that you're talking about? And, they were discussing celebrating the White Cane and the independence and how the Austin community supports it. So I actually started looking it up. And I went and I found the actual NFB proclamation, which I had no idea existed. And I had called my city councilman, who in turn got a hold of our city mayor, and we sat down over ice cream. And I had learned at the
we go with the ice cream again.
Yeah,
they were chasing the ice cream truck and talking. Yeah, it was a
yeah. We were chasing the ice cream truck down this down this sidewalkless road,
country road.
But our community's up and coming, and this is actually a tie-in to my experience at the ACB Texas conference in Austin last year. I learned about the availability of Talking Book, the Talking Book program. I had it personally since we've been here in Texas. We moved here 5 years ago, and I was immediately offered those services through the then Department for Blind Services. But I really enjoyed that. I was large print reading before then, but as my vision was getting worse, I was shying away from reading and I wasn't doing it as much. And it's something I always really enjoyed because I couldn't go out and,
Right.
throw a ball or run a marathon without tripping and making it really funny. But anyway, so I had learned at the ACBT conference last year about the Talking Book program, and I had asked them, I said, they were asking for ideas on how to get this Talking Book program known throughout the community. And it came to me that I work with special needs children within our school district. Why aren't these children being given this opportunity? And they couldn't answer my question, honestly. They said they just didn't really have the resources to reach out to the so many hundreds of school districts that were in Texas. And I said, well, I know one for sure that would love to use it. And that is initially why I made my appointment with my city councilman, who got a hold of the mayor. And while we were sitting there over ice cream, I asked him, about taking the Talking Book program to the school. And the mayor said, well, I'm not going to take this to the school. I'm taking this to the school board meeting.
Good.
And we're going to give it to who it needs to go to. And we're going to get this implemented for our children with special needs. This makes so much sense. Come to find out, my city councilman's daughter is dyslexic, and it would definitely help her as well. So it not only helps people with vision problems, it helps children with different aspects of disabilities as well. But had I not gone to the conference and known about that program and known that they were looking for ways to get out in the community, I'm proud to say at this moment that our school district now uses the program in its special education department.
Good. That's wonderful.
And at the same time, I was like, oh yeah, and by the way, I want to give this proclamation, and I was wondering if we could sign this, get this signed this year in honor of White Cane Day. And the mayor took one look at the folder and started looking it over. And he just closed it. He's like, consider it done.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Good.
It was seriously that simple. And my city councilman and my mayor have been so supportive about getting trees trimmed in our neighborhood and getting sidewalks fixed and getting the new stoplights that we are getting.
Audible pedestrian signals, yes.
But they didn't realize that there was a need within our community. So none of it had really been addressed. There was always something, that took precedence over it, or they hadn't thought of it. But because I sat with them and now I have both of them as personal friends, I collaborate with them when I realize something else is going on or something else that needs to be addressed. And it's really, I love being able to help people. I guess even if they don't realize that I'm helping them, I love being able to be the resource or the information or the trailblazer for this type of work.
Off mic, we've been talking, Becky and I, and a little bit about advocacy. And one of the things that we're doing Thursday evening during the convention is we're having what we're calling our advocacy boot camp. And that is our advocacy people from our office in Virginia and a whole panel of individuals who are going to be talking about how to advocate for yourself and how to advocate for others, and giving people some scenarios on where advocacy has worked and how you can become an advocate, even if it's, as Becky was talking about, requesting audible pedestrians or getting information for White Cane Day off list. And these are all things that you can learn at our advocacy boot camp Thursday evening on how to be a self-advocate or advocate for someone else.
That will be Thursday, July 9th. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's all great stuff. And by the way, that was an excellent segue back into the interview.
I'm not trying to stop talking. I just thought of it, and
I was like, she's fantastic. Well, no, you both spoke well, but I was really impressed by the, off mic, Becky and I were talking, and I thought that was a great lead back into.
Yep. And the other thing that came up off mic, what those of you who are listening don't know is this podcast took us 17 hours to record because it kept digressing, but that's neither here nor there. We were talking about talking books and the library service, and we will have every year at our general session, and we will have this on Wednesday morning, we have a talking book narrator who comes and talks to our group. And this year our talking book narrator is Erin Jones from Louisville, Kentucky, who is a recorder for National Library Service. And she, if anyone listens to talking books or books on, she is one of the very prolific talking book narrators as far as number of books that she's done. And she'll be a great asset to our general session. And then she is also speaking later that day to our library users and Braille Revival League group about her experience as a talking book narrator, and she'll be available to answer more questions. And then we are also, our library users group is talking with Karen Kenninger, the director of National Library Services, and we were talking again off mic about the services that, talking book services that are provided, and Becky was mentioning about them being for, that people who weren't just blind could avail themselves of the services. And actually, NLS has actually just recently changed their name from to National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled.
Wonderful to know.
I noticed that
is
actually.
A great service.
I noticed that you're a part of, obviously, I think I mentioned to you in the email, the initial contact, that the first 10 episodes or the first 10 weeks of the program is all about the spotlight on organizations. And one of them that I have in the list is the National Library Services for the Blind and Print Disabled.
Good. Yep.
So 9, I guess actually more like 11 months and some weeks in here, what have you learned into your virtual convention pregnancy, as it were? What have you learned about producing this kind of, conference, not only about the conference itself, but also really about yourself, and what have you learned so far?
Well, initially when it was determined by the board that we were going to not do an in-person convention and do this virtually, I thought, oh, well, this is not going to be as hard as an in-person convention. This is going to be way easier. I'm not going to have as much to do. Boy, was I wrong. And I also learned, although I knew this, that I'm not a huge technological person. I mean, I can get into a Zoom meeting, but I'm still a person who has, and I'm very proud of this, so you can all laugh at me, I still have a flip phone. I don't have an iPhone. I want something that has buttons on it. I use my Braille Sense Polaris from HIMSS. I use my computer desktop, but I'm not Ms. Technology Wizard. So I've learned that among ACB, we have an extremely dedicated group of people for ACB Radio who normally I don't really work that closely with during the convention, other than, they just stream our events, and that's, as far as my involvement goes with them. And I have a committee that I work with during the convention, someone who handles tours, someone who handles volunteers, our exhibit hall coordinator, and we are, obviously, it takes a group to do a convention. To do a virtual convention, it takes even a larger group, because just setting all this up with all the Zoom meeting rooms and figuring out what meeting is going to go where, trying to make sure that like groups of meetings are maybe set together in the same Zoom room so people can go from one meeting to another, working out what's going to be streamed when on ACB Radio. This has been a huge labor of love and a huge technological endeavor. We're having many different Zoom meetings. We're having sessions with our presenters for our general sessions and some of our evening sessions, just so that people get to feel comfortable being on Zoom, during our general sessions and our evening sessions, we will have video available. So we'll have a video component. So making sure that everybody is able to access that. I thought I actually had I thought I had gotten my son to get a profile picture up on my Zoom account, but I realized this morning that it's not up there, so I've got to figure out how to do that. But it really is a technological marvel to put all this together.
It is,
and I've learned that I know nothing about technology.
I've learned a lot about technology in the past couple of years, because before this, I actually shied away from technology myself. I didn't even have a smartphone until 2 years ago. So, well, I had one, but I didn't use it to its potential. Yeah, and then during my time at Chris Cole, I got to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, it does this. I can do this. And I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So I started teaching the class. I actually assisted in teaching the class because I was so interested. And you're constantly learning about new ways to do stuff. And then some people even maybe don't know something, they come to the class because they want to learn more about voiceover or more about using iOS, because that's what I taught and that's what I use. But then even they will introduce you to something that you didn't realize your phone was capable of doing, or a new app or something like that. I mean, it's just constantly evolving.
Yep.
Okay, Ms. Becky, your next question, please, ma'am.
Are there any other ways people can contribute to the convention, for example, as a virtual volunteer or anything like this?
At this point, there really isn't, because everybody's pretty well set with what needs to be done for the convention. So unfortunately, there's really no way that people can be a virtual volunteer, but we certainly are happy to have attendees, and our convention registration actually closed on June 22nd. However, what we do normally is our registration closes a couple of weeks before the convention, and then we have on-site registration for people who had not had the opportunity to register prior to the opening of the convention. So we're going to have virtual, quote, on-site registration. So starting on July 3rd, if you have not registered for the convention, you can call our office in Minneapolis, and they will go ahead and get you registered. They'll just need a credit card for the convention administration fee, and they'll get you registered so that you can receive all of the Zoom information for any sessions that you'd like to attend. And while we're talking about that, can I just give a plug for a list that I have? I maintain what we call our convention announce list, and anyone who is interested in getting updates about the convention, you won't get the Zoom information for the sessions unless you've actually registered, but anyone who's interested in getting updates about our convention can subscribe to this announce list. And I pretty much send out something every day about the convention, and you just need to send a blank email to ACB Convention subscribe, SUBSCRIBE, at acblists, lists.org. So it's ACB Convention subscribe at acblists.org, and that will get you on our convention mailing list.
Kingsley, this is a show note. Put that email address in the show notes. Okay. How many people are you?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Kingsley. I'm interrupting you.
That's okay.
I just have a quick question.
Do you know who I am? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do know who you are, but do you know who I am?
Yes, that's why I'm going to be quiet. Go ahead.
Okay.
Good answer.
I just wanted to ask, you're from St. Paul, and you said your Minneapolis office. Are you part of a state affiliate? And then where would the ACB headquarters be located?
We have two offices. Our main headquarters office is in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
In Minneapolis, we have our office, which is our financial office, and that is where the registration will take place.
Okay.
And yes, each state has a state affiliate of ACB, just like you've attended things for ACB Texas. And some states have numerous different chapters and affiliates. Here in Minnesota, we just have one because it's mainly Twin Cities people. So, but yes.
Right, because it's Minneapolis, St. Paul, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's right.
St. Paul, Minneapolis. No, Minneapolis.
Yeah, my husband has family in Maple Grove.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah, his uncle used to work in, I believe, Minneapolis. He worked for General Mills, I think.
Yep, that's in Minneapolis.
There you go. Okay, my geography's coming together now.
So just to make sure we do have it clear. Hang on, my mic is acting weird. Okay, so just to make sure it's clear, you said that on July 3rd, people can start to register again on July 3rd. Is that by going through the website again, the acb.org?
That is just phone only.
Okay.
So you'll need to call our Minneapolis office, and the phone number for Minneapolis is 612-332-3242. But you can't register until July 3rd, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time.
So that is July 3rd.
They'll be happy to. 9
a.m. Eastern time, 10 Central, and that would be, what is that, 12? No, that's like 6.
No.
Isn't it 10?
8 Pacific. I mean, 7 Pacific.
7 Pacific, thank you. So you're right. I'm sorry, 9 Eastern.
No, okay, wait, let's start this again. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6. All right.
Don't forget the mountains.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, Janet.
All right. So you can start registering for the convention on July 3rd by calling our Minneapolis office at 612-332-3242, and registration will open up at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 a.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and 6 a.m. Pacific Time. And I think it's like 1 o'clock in the morning for people in Hawaii.
That's great, though. No, that was perfect. Thank you for correcting me on that. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add that we didn't cover?
The other thing that we're going to do during the one of the many other things we're going to do during the convention is, for our in-person conventions, one of the things that people really enjoy is we have a lot of tours that we take groups of people who are interested in signing up for various tours. We probably have 10 or 12 tours throughout a convention. Well, obviously, we can't go to any place in person in our virtual convention, but we're going to have a tours channel where we have a number of audio described tours that are going to be played on this channel. Anything from, we've got a tour of the White House, an audio description. We've got Mount Rushmore. We've got a Holocaust Museum. I think we have 12 or 14 different tours that we're going to be audio described tours that we're going to be playing throughout the convention. And like the exhibit hall, that's going to be on a loop. And so you'll get several replays throughout the day.
That's really fantastic. I wonder.
I am super excited.
Are you familiar? I love that excitement. For Janet, before we let her go?
No, I actually threw my questions in here and there. I just went with it when I was feeling it.
She just went with the flow.
Just to recap, our convention days are Friday, July 3rd through Friday, July 10th. And I hope that you will come and be a part of our convention. And I've really enjoyed the opportunity to chat with you both. This has been great.
Thank you so much. It's been great chatting with you as well.
It's been great chatting with you, Janet, and everybody. Do go and join the ACB online at acb.org. You can also go to Facebook and search for ACB or the American Council of the Blind. They have a Facebook page, and they have several.
And we have a YouTube channel.
And they have a YouTube channel. Go and like.
A lot of our convention content will be available on Facebook Live and pushed out on our YouTube channel.
And definitely like and share that content with everyone you know who is living with or who is impacted by blindness in all its forms. United we stand type of thing. Thank you, Janet, for joining us, and have a fantastic convention. We look forward to attending.
Thanks.
All right, I am going to cut I'm going to